my name is Laura. I am 38 years old, and today is World Bipolar Day. And the reason that's important for me is because I have bipolar type 2. My mom actually has bipolar type 1. And the best way I've kind of heard that described is imagine a radio. You remember the radios, oh gosh, I'm going to show my age here, where you tune it. You turn the dial, and if you go a little too high, the station goes out of focus. If you go a little too low, the station goes out. That's kind of what having bipolar disorder is like. It's like that dial is constantly moving. So for my mom being type 1, her dial tends to go towards the high side, whereas me having type 2, my dial tends to go towards the low side. So that's, for me, that means more episodes of depression. And for my mom, that means more episodes of mania. And it's hard to describe how it feels. It's not something that I would really wish on anyone. It's hard to talk about. And that's why days like World Bipolar Day are so important. For me, early on, I had support from my mom and from the doctors that she got me into and different things like that. I had someone I could talk to, and I had support to get help and treatment, and I had people in my life that understood that I wasn't crazy oh, I just needed to snap out of it. They understood that there was something biologically wrong with me and that I needed help to treat that. And I was able to have that very early on, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't really get that kind of support. And so I think that's why days like World Bipolar Day are really important, because it's important that people talk about bipolar disorder and just kind of what it is. One of the things I did early on was I educated myself about what biologically goes on with someone who has bipolar disorder, and how does it affect, and why does it affect how I feel, my thoughts, my emotions. And then it helped me understand maybe why some things were good for me and others were bad for me, and kind of what I could do to kind of help that dial be able to tune in and stay within that range that kept me functional and kept me able to go on about my life. And I'll be honest, it was hard. It was extremely hard, and it took a lot of work to be able to get to where I was functional day to day. And I still have good days and bad days, but I've also been able to have people in my life in support, and people that I can tell them, I'm not having a good day. I'm not feeling right today. And even if they don't fully understand what that means, they kind of understand not to take anything personally. If I seem agitated or upset, don't take it personally. Just know that I'm just not feeling good. Or if I'm not able to focus or feel motivated, that I'm not just being lazy or just, something like that. Like, they understand that I have something biological going on, and I just kind of have to work through it. And but they know that they can be supportive, and I think that's made all the difference for me. There's a lot of people out there that don't have that, and it makes it extremely hard to function, especially if you feel like you have to hide your disorder because people don't understand what it is, or they just think you're crazy. I've heard that word so many times in my life, and it's part of the reason I didn't tell people I had bipolar disorder. I fought it for so long because I didn't want that label. I'd heard bipolar and crazy used in the same sentence so many times. It made me not... I fought that diagnosis for years because I didn't want to be labeled like that. And it wasn't until I finally accepted it and was like, you know what? I can run from it all I want, but the reality is I have bipolar disorder. And I even went through a grieving period where it was like, you know, this is my life and this is what I have, and I'm not going to be normal. I'm not going to be like other people. But, you know, I did have support, and that helped me get through it, and still helps me get through it. Unfortunately, there's not a cure. I still have good days and bad days, but I have more good days than bad days now. And I'm very thankful for that. And I think the sad reality is there's a lot of people out there that don't have support. They don't think they can feel like they can be honest about kind of where they're at. And, you know, they're probably just afraid, like I was, to admit that something was wrong and to admit that it could be bipolar disorder. And probably one of the things that really struck me was the first time that I came face to face with someone who had bipolar disorder and they committed suicide. I had had my own bouts with suicidal thoughts. And for me, hearing that someone that I knew had committed suicide because of their bipolar disorder was extremely hard. Because I know the desperation and the just fear and just pain that I felt when I had those suicidal thoughts. And to know that they felt that way and they didn't make it was hard. And it was hard to realize that they weren't here anymore to tell you what they went through or what they were going through. And that's the sad reality, is that not everybody with bipolar disorder makes it. But I think that's why now I feel like it's important that I talk, and it's important that I tell my story, because I want people to know that there's hope. I want families to know, and friends to know, and just people to know that there's hope. You know, I finished college. I got my degree. I work a full-time job. I love to volunteer and be an active part of my community. So people with bipolar disorder can give back, and they can be successful, and they just need the right resources and tools. And days like World Bipolar Disorder are important in helping to raise awareness and helping people to be able to talk about bipolar disorder and how it affects them. And by talking about it and making a safe space for people to talk about it, you don't have to hide and be ashamed and feel guilty for something that's not your fault. And being able to put away that shame and that guilt, I think, makes a world of difference. So if you have someone in your life that has bipolar disorder, create a safe space where they can come and they can talk and they can open up to you about what they're feeling. And if they need help, encourage them to get help. Encourage them to talk to other people who have bipolar disorder and can help them feel like they're not alone. And that some of the things they're feeling don't mean they're crazy. They have a biological disorder. And their bodies aren't the same. Their brains don't work the same, and that's okay. They just need to learn how to handle what they're feeling and learn how it affects them, and sort of put tools in their tool belt to help them be able to handle it day to day. And so just be supportive as you can. Like I said, To those out there that have bipolar disorder, I just want you to know you're not alone. There is hope. You don't have to be ashamed or scared. And, you know, reach out to other people who are living with this disorder and can talk to you and help you feel not alone. And just stay with us, okay? Keep fighting, because you're not alone. And you can do this, okay? So, thank you guys for listening. If you've made it to this part of the video, thank you for your support, and happy World Bipolar Day.